All right, fam. So I'm still writing this book. You can pause the screen if you want to see this whole chapter. I'm gonna zoom in though. This last paragraph, so good. So basically, just to wrap it up, I'm gonna go into this idea of organization as oligarchy. Um, I think it's really important. This whole chapter is pretty good, but you see how long it is. So I'm going to just zoom in and we'll just talk about this last one because this is just brilliant. I love it. All right, check this out. Suppose you have it. So basically, we're going to contrast democracy, republics, and oligarchies. All right. Oligarchy is minority rule. So the thing about this chapter, and like I said, you guys could look at it. This is pause it, you could read it. Pause it, you could read it. But this is what I'm going to read. Right. Uh, Oligarchies are minority rule. Realistically, you're already oligarchic, right? Like just set my son out of the room, but that's it. Like your son is like you're a minority in your household. Now obviously me and my son are like the same, the number. Well, we're not I'm not a minority per se, but you get what I'm saying. Like if I had two children, I'd be the minority, right? Either way, we're already oligarchic. Okay? It's only a question of like why do people keep pushing democracy on us? So I'm going to make a good case. I make a few. Like I said, you go through, you rewind, you got it, right? You pause, you read it, you enjoy it. Now this is the first draft, so it's not going to be like I would release this, except for that when I edit it some more, it's going to think like for instance, I just added some more explanation over here. I just added more explanation over here, so it's like is it too much information? Is it too little? Long story short, let's just read into it. So look here. Suppose you have a territory with four borders. For simplicity, south, west, north, and east. Okay? To the south is a nation, to the west is another, to the north is yet another, and to the east is the ocean. All right? The territory can follow different organizational schemes. So contrast a democratic, a republic, and an oligarchic nation. Suppose each border has its own particular and popular issues. To the south is a growing military threat. To the west is a destabilized but resource rich nation. To the north is good trading opportunities. And to the east, off sea drilling. Now, actually, I was supposed to look this up. I'm not sure if off sea drilling is the term. But, shout out to, by the way, Bitter Medicine Podcast. He has this interview with this brother who's talking about, I think I can't remember his name right now, but Maj. It's not Maj Ray, but it's another brother. Um, you guys check out, Bit of Medicine podcast, different interviews. But he was talking about offseat drilling, so I decided, look, let me put in offseat drilling in this book, right? So he says, look, you have these four things: to the south, military threat; to the west, resource-rich nation; to the north, good trading opportunity; to the south, oil in the ocean. Okay, and so you as a leader, just think about it. What do you do? What do you do? Now the thing is this: you're not a leader in that sense, right? There's different ways that people can be organized, and they could organize this in a democratic way, in a Republican way, if you will, or in an oligarchic way, right? So how does this work? Now, obviously, some people will say, let's do all of them. You can't. You have resources are limited, right? So the budget of the nation is limited. In a democratic society, now check this out, where the majority rules, the issue that would be focused may be the issue where the population is concentrated. Okay, because it's democracy, right? If everybody has an equal vote, right? Like let's say you have 20 million people, right? 10 million people are in the east, 5 million are in the south, right? No, in fact, 1 million's in the south, right? 4 million and 5 million are in the north and west, right? So you have your 20 million, right? If 10 million people, if it's a democracy, the 10 million are going to win, right? If it's a popular issue, so it's like even if there's a freaking big threat to the south, the people on the east don't know about this threat. You get what I'm saying? Like if there's a military buildup to the south and you're in the east of the nation, you don't know this. Like I don't know what's going on. Like I'm in New York right now, and of course I'll be in Tanzania at some point, right? But what I'm saying is I'm in New York right now. I don't know what's going on the western border of New York State. I don't know what's going on in Canada. I don't know what's going on in New Jersey. Why would I? You know what I'm saying? I'm in New York City, right? So if there was a choice, if there was everybody has an equal say in the state, right? Obviously, whatever is the immediate issue for me is the issue that I would advocate, right? So, but let's just read the language that's written, right? So, the budget of the North, a democratic society where the majority rules, the issue that would be focused, maybe the issue where the population is concentrated. Suppose the population is focused in the East because of the port city. The budget of the nation doesn't go to the southern border that no one in the East knows or cares about, but it goes to off-sea drilling. I think it was offshore drilling. That's what it was, offshore drilling. So I'll correct that. I should probably do it right now, right? Why not? Okay, so let's say offshore drilling. I'm gonna double check it. Like I said, I was just so hyped because this paragraph is really good. Like this whole thing is really good, but this paragraph really takes the cake, right? So I just sometimes you get so excited in your writing that you just say, you know what, I'm not even gonna spell check right now. I'm gonna show this off. All right. So a republic, a representative government, which is a cross between democracy and oligarchy, may similarly opt for the sea drilling, which I think that's okay. I'll think about it too. Whatever. I'll just leave it. Sea drilling, but because of the centralization of information, potentially put up defenses to the south. Okay, so you have a republic, you have people coming together, and they're like, "Hey, look, here's my representative from the south. Here are the 10 representatives from the east, right? Here's the representative from the south. Here's the 4 representatives in the west and the 5 representatives in the north, right? They all come together in the center or wherever, or they come together in the south, inside the east because that's where the east is, right? And the guy or gal from the south is like, no, listen to me. These guys are coming for us. They're coming. They're building up. There's a military buildup. My people are suffering. We really have to do something about it, right? And they're like, look, man, we need to get this offshore drilling. We need to get this offshore drilling. So, sure, we'll give you some stuff for the military, obviously, but we're really going to focus on the offshore drilling. And that's okay. We get it. That's a democracy, right? That's a republic. That's a democratic republic, if you will, right? So he says, which is across the team, so on and so forth. So they'll do the sea drilling, but because of the centralization of information, potentially put up defenses to the south. Okay. Now the oligarchy, where a well-informed minority rules, may altogether neglect the off-sea drilling. It's like, yeah, okay, you're in the south, you love the offshore drilling. That's fine. But the oligarchy is like, hey, hold on a second. Right? That's not the biggest pressing issue. You know what I'm saying? That's just people. That's just what people in the East they do. They're living good. They're living high on the hog, and they just want to live higher on the hog, right? But they're not. They're not really thinking. They just see something in front of them. That's just something that everybody's talking about over there. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the best option, right? So it's like the well-informed may altogether neglect the sea drilling and possibly dabble in resources to the west. You see what I'm saying? It may dabble in the resources to the west. Be like, wait a second, you said there's a weak nation to the left, to the west? I said left. That should be the right, right? We're in the south. We're in the south-north paradigm. But anyway, the south is up. But anyway, so he said the oligarchy where well-informed minority rules may altogether neglect the off-sea drilling. Again, it's offshore drilling. But again, like I said, sometimes you get hyped when you're writing. I got critics, so I have to be careful. And possibly dabble in resources to the west or catch the real threat to the east. An approaching navy, an unpopular, largely unknown issue communicated secretly to the oligarchs. You see what I'm saying? Now you're like, wait, what? Because again, one of the important things right here is popular issues. What are the popular issues? You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter what the popular issues are. What are the unpopular issues too? Like you have to factor in the unpopular issues as well. So, the oligarchs see the Navy where the majority will not, even if they are in the East, because it will have an effective information gathering network or spies reporting to the handful of trustworthy individuals in power. For instance, if a fisherman sees a Navy buildup and reports it to the police, the information doesn't become popular, but it can be useful. You see what I'm saying? So, like, let's say you're out at sea and you're taking you're just doing a tour of the you're going to one of the islands or whatever, right? And then there's like a buildup. There's like some approaching ships or something, or you just see a base being set up, right? You see that as a lowly fisherman. You see that on your trip. What do you do with that information? I mean, does if you say, "Hey, look, guys, I saw this thing," like, who cares? How many people are you to communicate with, and how many people in power? However, if you say, "Look, let me tell this police," the police says, "Okay, let me run this up the chain." All of a sudden, the people making decisions gets the information, and then you have this. The information doesn't become popular; it can be useful. The oligarchs may end up putting resources in an opposing navy, or even like say a diplomatic channel if it's that late, right? You know, I could put like, "Hey, wait a second, what are you doing here?" You know what I'm saying? Rather than losing the resources with a drill when a foreign enemy enters unopposed. You see what I'm saying? Because you could say, "Look, there's a threat. I'm going to, there's a threat. Like let's say you don't know there's a threat. So you put all your resources, you have your limited budget, and you put it in this drill, right? Now somebody else comes to capture your eastern portion. They get the drill for free. Well, not free because they, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. They get the drill, and you basically lose more because your drill is now in their economy. So again, like this was so like this. Now these examples, you guys might not know, are probably they're like in the Book of Power, kind of. Well, not really in the Book of Power, but they're kind of inspired by the Book of Power. So make sure you guys, if you want to support this writing, make sure you support the earlier literature. Everything is building off of the older literature. But yeah, that's pretty much this. Like this, pretty much that, and it's like I love this. This is good. I'm only writing 3 paragraphs for each section right now, and I don't even know how much more I could add to this choice, obviously, because it's just it's so rich, it's so good. But and I don't think it's gonna just be 1 page, obviously. But like this book right here is so good. It's so good, and I want you guys to join in this journey with me. So I want you guys to like this video, obviously, get the algorithm going. Subscribe if you haven't, right? Share this video because this kind of stuff is nobody's talking about it. Okay, nobody's talking about it. Like we don't get it, but these white people, right? They kind of like they don't need everybody to talk about it. Like I said, it's oligarchy, right? But they have people talking about this stuff, and that's partly why they get ahead. I don't want to, like I said, you guys can screenshot and you can so on and so forth. But you have this part where it's like, while humans differ genetically, groups of people differ in how they organize, technologize, and strategize. The people who do the 3 best are better off in the world, and the people who do not do these 3 are worse off. Organization, technology, and strategy are how people win over another. How a people win over another. Now again, we know win over and over other has has its own implications. So again, I'm gonna go through a lot of editing for this book, but it's mostly like you have to like I'm kind of like 15% done. This is not the final product, but you kind of see like you have to capture the ideas because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna eventually write like an introduction, a conclusion, all that kind of stuff, and you kind of can't do that when the book is monumental. You know what I mean? It's profound, monumental, whole bunch of stuff. So again, if you want to be a part of this writing process, you could like I said, just buy the older literature. If you already bought the older literature but you still want to support, obviously hit up the Cash App. The Cash App is in the description, or you could buy some of the smaller books and hand those out. I have those quote books, I have the puzzle books, and all that kind of stuff. Like whatever you want. Like if you want to support this sort of effort, like I said, you could do the Cash App, you could do thing, or just like share, because this nobody's even talking about this stuff. I'm telling you, this right here, in the right hands, can change. It's kind of like the fisherman, saying, "Hey, look, I saw a navy build up." In the right hands, this book can change our fate as a race. Okay, and I'm writing it, and it's fun. Probably shouldn't have said all that. Of course, white people don't believe, so it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, you said you could. You said the same thing about the last book, so it's what it is. But like, yeah, like this right here, I'm really enjoying it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, like, subscribe, share, and that's all I can say. Thank you so much for your time. Shem Hotep, Anku Ja, Seneb Neb, Amen Ma'at, Dua Necher.